One of my favorite parts of the end of the year is clearing my headspace and setting up for next year. A clean slate, new goals, new milestones I want to hit, events and deadlines that I want to get on the calendar, and reviewing how the past year went and what improvements I can make. And I like to start a lot of that process by setting up my 2024 digital planner on my iPad. I am using the 2024 Light Mode Landscape version of the Cyberry digital planner. Comes with a few different customization options after purchase, so I'm just going through those motions, opting for a new horizontal weekly to give that a go for this year. I'm also going to rename my planner file, add a cover, and then set up an app shortcut to the planner from my iPad home screen. All of this I cover in great detail in the Cyberry 2024 setup guide and tutorial video, which will be linked in the description below. Once inside my digital planner, the first thing I like to set up is the login page for Cyberry. The login page is essentially your reflection of the past year and what you want to accomplish in the new year. It also has ample space along the side in this landscape version, which is perfect for a vision board. I already have a video going into immense detail on how I set up and created this vision board, and I also chatted about my goals, how my life is changing in 2024, and a lot of tips and tricks along the way for getting something out of the vision board that you create. So if you're interested in seeing how this fully came to life, check out my video from last week, which I'll link down in the description. The next page I tend to set up is my quarterly overview page. This is a high-touch page for breaking down big events or launches or deadlines into each quarter of the year, just to make things a bit more manageable. So I'm just writing in some goals I have for each quarter, and these may change or get more concrete the closer I get within each quarter. But these are things that I like to start off with. I also like to make note of bigger projects that I typically accomplish in each quarter, and these more so surround KDigitalStudio itself. These tasks are huge, typically non-negotiables for me, rather than adding in tons of different sticker launches or smaller projects in general, since those are more or less movable in terms of release dates or when I can accomplish those. At the top, I like to write in a few key dates, not all, and these are dates typically outside of the holiday season where I might expect to have extended breaks as far as making sure I'm kind of accounting for personal time off or relaxation time away. Next, I like to tackle the yearly overview page, and this page is meant more to be a visual in terms of breaking up the year. I'm essentially applying those same goals, tasks, and launch plans from my quarterly overview, but guessing approximate weeks out of the year for such launches or possible sales that might run in just certain times of the year, when customer support might be closed or when I might take extended breaks again. I treat this as a color-coded calendar, but for the entire year. A lot of this is just guesswork since I do work for myself, but before working for myself, I would mark out days I was off work, vacations, important life deadlines, exam periods, and so on. Once that's done, I want to make time to plan for January itself. Now, I won't take up this entire video to show how I set up this monthly page, but if you are interested in seeing that in more detail, I'll have it up for you next week. I did film the whole plan with me for January. I really love how the spread came together, and lately I've just been leaning more into decorative elements for some serotonin boost during these darker seasons, and have been really enjoying it. So I can't wait for you to see in more detail this page set up for next week. Now, I do like setting up weekly pages the week before rather than tackling all the weekly setups at once. It just makes more sense to me that way, but I will go ahead and start that weekly setup process in this video. I'm just copying over events or meetings from the first of the week and then pasting them over into my weekly page. I love treating the weekly pages as more of a to-do list, so I think using the horizontal weekly page is the best for that kind of setup. I do plan on going back to this later when I know my day-to-day tasks and priorities for this week, but at least the main deadlines are already ready there for me to see them and get started. Cyberry has monthly quick menu pages like notes, budget, wellness goals, and review. Many of the pages I can go ahead and set up to prepare for January. I don't have notes to take since it isn't January yet. I generally use these pages to take notes during my meetings, so instead I hopped inside my budget page to start for the next year's setup. I'm experimenting with how I like to budget again for 2024 since I will need to account for a whole new human and our health insurance plans, so I just wanted to quickly jot down some financial goals and worries I have for January specifically. For my wellness page, I'm just going in by writing down what my habits are so I can just mark them as complete during the month of January, as well as color coding the various metrics for each health factor of my life. January for me is all about rest and relaxation, going with the flow, possibly recovering from a birth and just our new life in general. So I'm not stressing myself out by having such strict habits of exercise and reading X amount of pages a day and so on, like how my habits typically are. So now then there is the goals page. I wrote out 3 main goals that I hope to get started with in January, and I decided to color code them based off whether it was a personal or a work goal. January is going to be all about taking it easy, learning how I best function, enjoying time with my husband, and just taking that time to nest and prepare for life changes. So nothing super concrete as far as steps here or business goals here for KDigitalStudio. I'll be learning as I go with something like this, which I think is one of the best ways to accommodate and adapt to such big life shifts like I'm about to experience. But I did want to make note of my starting point before checking in with these goals, as well as writing out my why for even setting these goals for myself in January. As things develop and possibly become more concrete, if they do, then I'll go in later to write in the actual steps that I can take to accomplish these goals. The last monthly quick menu page in cyberry is the review page, which I'll have to save for the end of January when it's time to reflect on the month. So not something I can do now as far as setting up my planner, but something I do look forward to doing at the very end of this month. And with that, I am going to quickly set up the first daily page in January. Of course, I don't know what that day will look like for me just yet, so I'm just pasting over the important bits for my monthly calendar. And then I can finish setting up this daily page the day before or a few days before when I know more information about my day. I do also want to set up a second monthly page. cyberry has 5 different hyperlinked monthly calendars, which allow you to organize or set up your life in different ways, separate your kids' schedules or your work schedules and so on. But for my second monthly calendar, I wanted to set it up as a photo a day kind of thing, where I pasted an image I took that day to essentially serve as that day's memory. I might leave space to write a few words about the day. I haven't personally decided yet, but I am excited for this monthly calendar since one of my overarching goals of the year is to take more pictures, document my memories a lot better because I just don't do that currently. I'm on my phone a lot, my iPad, my camera, just a lot of stuff, but that's for KDigitalStudio specifically. But I'm nearly never on those devices for my own personal life, and so I'd like to document that a bit more for myself. So just setting that page up, making it look cute and ready for some of my memories. And that is the entire setup for my digital planner for 2024. Really quick and easy since granular tasks can be more difficult to plan so far in the future for, but I've set up enough spreads and templates that I can quickly get my tasks down or mark off a habit without going through an additional setup. And I'm really looking forward to this year and whatever it might bring. Everything I used in this setup will be linked in the description for you to check out. And before you click off this video, I would love to know what goals you have planned for 2024. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.